You can, if these stories are duplicated, you can erase them, right?
Yeah.
And the main operation was over with. And
What main operation? War?
We thought all the Japs that we'd killed them on this island. And we were set up in Bivouac area one Sunday afternoon out on this point on this island. And it was misty. Clouds were low down in the almost at the top of the coconut palms. And Captain came and told me the next morning that he wanted me to go on a patrol real early in the morning with a squadron that was going out to look and see could they find any Japs. So there's a friend of mine, his name was Caldwell. He was a real dude that liked a lot of glory and attention. So he said, well, I'll go in your stead. You don't need to go. You can just sleep in. You can go. So he went, and they took off, and it went down this trail, and there's rolling out telephone wires as they went. They'd roll out carry a big reel of telephone wire on the strap on their shoulder, and they'd roll it out. And it was in contact back with our headquarters, so that they could keep in constant contact with headquarters. And then once they rolled that roll out, they'd take another roll and tie it onto that roll and roll the other one, where they always could be in contact back with headquarters. Well, they were gone for a couple of hours, and we heard a bunch of shooting, bam, 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 going on. But they never did contact headquarters. Never had no contact from headquarters from them. Not a word. So after a while, the captain told me that I had to take 2 guys and go out and find that patrol and see why come we hadn't heard from them. So I took 2 of my buddies that was great shots, and they was pretty fearless dudes. And we took off down the trail where these people run out this line. And the Japs had a propensity of cutting those lines, and they'd wait till somebody came to splice the line, and then it'd be up in the coconut tree hid, and they'd shoot them when they was down splicing the lines back together. So after a while, we came to where they'd cut the line, and I knew just well as anything what they intended to do with it. It was up one of them coconut palms somewhere when I started to splice the lines. Since I was in control of the little 3-man patrol, I had to splice the line. I knew they was going to shoot my butt when I started.
What does splice the line mean?
Tie them back together. And take the 2 lines and hook them back together so we could communicate from where the people were back to headquarters.
Okay.
And so I took one of my guys and told him, look down the trail one way, and if you saw any leaf, anything move, we'll just spray the coconut palm, and the other one the other way. And so I go to splice the line. Of course, fortunately, since I'm here, they didn't shoot me. The Japs were gone. But they'd been there such a short time till they had little pans of rice that was still hot where they'd been eating the rice, that something scared them away and they was gone back into the forest. So we went on tracing the line where these guys were till we found them, and they were laying in this big grass meadow, and they had these machine guns set up there pointing right down the trail where we was coming from. And as we came out of the woods, out of the wood forest, we saw these machine guns, and we hollering, don't shoot, we're Americans. Of course, they naturally say they didn't shoot or we wouldn't have been here. But they hadn't even attempted to they didn't even know the line had been cut because they hadn't even ever attempted to get in contact with headquarters all that morning. And they got chastised severely whenever they got back to headquarters because they hadn't ever tried to make contact with us. But
that sounds scary.
Well, it scared me goodly because I thought I was going to get it. And then it went on, got back to headquarters, and then the captain told us to go out. Then it was less than a quarter of a mile from the headquarters on this trail and set up an outpost out there. he sent a squad of 7 of us out there and set up this little outpost. And there was a little coconut palm shack out there. And it was raining, just mist, just foggy mist. And we put some stakes in the ground in this little coconut covered shanty and put a pole across it and a helmet. And in this helmet we had some beans cooking. We had a little fire under this helmet of beans cooking. And it started getting dark, and all of a sudden we was out sitting on a log outside of this little shack. Every one of us, and I was giving the guys an Atterbun pill. An Atterbun pill was something you took to keep you from getting yellow jaundice. So I was going along giving them each one an Atterbun pill, and all of a sudden this shack was just sprayed with bullets.
Ugh.
And we had these holes dug, and we just dove into these holes, and been raining, so this filled with water was just like frogs diving into these holes. And
How deep are the holes?
some of them be 4 feet deep. And so, if these Japs that came up this trail in that dark, and they heard us talking, and they sprayed the shack because the smoke was coming out where we had that helmet of beans cooking in there, and the smoke was drifting up through the top, and they thought it was in the shack, so they sprayed the shack. We killed all the Japs. If they had been smart and just looked and seen us sitting on that log, they'd killed every single one of us. They sprayed us right off the log and killed us.
You had so many close calls.
And that night, I had this hole I dug, and I was in this hole, and I had a machine gun there, and I had it set up pointing down this trail where these Japs had came. And I had a dream, and I dreamed I was back home, and I was riding a bicycle with my brothers going down this hill, and my bicycle dumped over and dumped me off.
That was in your dream?
Yeah, it was in my dream.
How do you even remember the memory plus the dream you had that night? That's crazy, Pop.
Hey, Mike, you ought to see this picture of the invasion lady. She's got all the pictures of them here on this pad.
She got what?
All these pictures of us invading Lady Island.
Yeah, well, I've seen most of them.
He's got old Douglas MacArthur wading ashore there, and I was standing about 50 feet from him whenever he waded ashore.
Hey, grumpy baby. What's the matter?